conference call on such a short notice. Just because we've received so many requests, we decided to go ahead with just a general Zoom conference call for everyone. So, okay, so here on this call we have Chief Peter Beattie of Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation, Grand Chief Brian Hartlot, and Dwayne Hebert, EM Director from PBCN. So we're going to start off with Chief Beattie with some opening remarks, and then Grand Chief, and then Dwayne, and then from there we'll open the floor to questions. So with that, I'd like to ask Chief Beattie to go ahead. So I'm just going to turn off my my video. Let's see, Chief. We can't hear you, Chief. I'm going to unmute you. And I'm asking you to start your video. Oh, there we go. Mute. Okay. We can't hear you, Chief.
That kicked me out of the meeting.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So if we can just
yeah, I was trying to unmute, but you're the only one that's controlling the mute button. So
right.
I couldn't answer when you were asking me to speak. So
okay.
My apologies for what you're doing to me.
So do you mind just moving your camera down just so that you're kind of more at the top? Yeah, that's better, I think. Perfect. Okay.
I'm not a photographer, so don't tell me.
Okay, we'll go ahead, Chief. I'm gonna mute myself over here.
So are you done? Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the call this afternoon regarding the evacuations of Sandy Bay and DeChambeau Lake. Initially, the evacuation was for DeChambeau Lake. Primarily, it was the what we call the P1s, or priority 1. P2s, priority 2s. That was due to the wildfire smoke. A lot of them have chronic issues with breathing, and some with heart conditions, and some prenatals as well. So those were, we decided to take them out of the community to get them away from the forest fire smoke. Currently, we have on the northeast side of DeChambeau Lake, we have what they call the arm fire. It's on the northeast arm of the lake. It's about, I'd say, approximately 10 kilometers or less from the community. So the smoke from that is coming into the community and creating problems for those that have breathing problems and other conditions. And then several days ago, there was another fire that started about, I think, 15, 16 kilometers northwest of our reserve. So that's going to start presenting problems if there's no action taken to put out that fire while it's still at a stage where it's not a huge fire right now. I mean, this is the time that these fires should be addressed, especially when they're in close proximity to our reserves and our communities. But I think in terms of some of the concerns that we wanted to address with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, is that these fires, when they're spotted, either through planes flying or through satellite imagery, then they should be addressed right away before they create these types of problems. And I know in previous years, and I'm talking probably in the when I started fighting fire in the early 70s, right up to the late 1990s, the the direction from the government at that time, the provincial government, is that these fires should be put out. In other words, they were in the business of fire suppression. Today, it's a different scenario. They're in the business of trying to manage forest fires. And once a forest fire gets going and it gets to a size that's huge, then there's no managing that fire. Not only is it a danger to our communities, it destroys a lot of our traditional territory, our trapping areas, our hunting areas, our gathering areas where we gather medicines and berries and so on and so forth. So it destroys that. And it's not, and those medicines won't come back for years. And so if you know that topography and the geography of northern Saskatchewan, especially in our area, which is primarily Precambrian shield, and those rock ridges where we have our forests, when those burn, it's going to take a long, long time for that forest to regenerate because it's got a thin layer of soil. A little bit different than when you get into the valleys. It's a little bit better there, but the majority of our area is that kind of terrain. So letting it burn and then hoping for a quick regeneration of forest is, you know, it's not going to be very soon before we see trees there again. So anyway, the way that the forest fires are being addressed is it's not very good for us. And when they changed direction and started trying to manage forest fires, that's when the problem started. That's when our evacuations started for our communities. And we've had evacuations almost on a yearly basis because of the way that they address the forest fires. They're very cognizant of forest fires when they start up after a lightning storm. When we were fighting fires, they had initial attack crews, and they still have them. The initial attack would go in and knock the fire down, and then they would bring in either the Type 2s, which are the First Nations fire crews, and these are all well-trained firefighters, a lot of them, a lot of years of experience, and they know what they're doing out there. And as well, after those are done, they bring in the Type 3s, which are the community firefighters. These are well-trained people as well that have passed a fitness test, and they can be well-equipped as well in terms of protective equipment, and can go into the fire and put it out, which at the end of the day should be the goal, is to put it out. Especially when your department is called, you know, the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency. So in the interest of public safety, would you not put the fire out when it's at a very small beginning stage to prevent this type of thing happening where people have to be uprooted from their residences and taken to places that they're not familiar with for the most part, especially our elders. And so those things are preventable. And I think that there has to be a change of direction. I know we've had some interaction with the SPSA in terms of the task force led by the PAGC, which was, of course, spearheaded by Grand Chief Brian Hardlot. And you know, we made a little bit of progress. I don't see a lot of progress. There has to be a change from the top. The direction has to come from the political figures in the province to change that direction. And you know, I had the pleasure of having a quick conversation with Minister Merriman this afternoon, and a very positive outcome to that conversation. And I hope that, it leads the way to a better situation for our northern communities. But certainly we have a lot of firefighters in northern Saskatchewan that are ready to go. When that fire is down on the ground, let's put them in there. I know the public safety agency is going to say, well, it's not safe, it's not safe, it's not safe. Well, Grand Chief and I have been in fires that were crowning, and we were on the ground. You just have to be on the right side of that fire. You don't want to be in front of it. So those are things that shouldn't happen, but from time to time they happened. But you have to have a working knowledge of the fire behavior, and you only gain that from good instruction and a lot of experience. And that's what we offer to the province from our First Nation side, is that if you're willing to engage us, we are ready and willing to go to work and put these fires out that are endangering our communities, infrastructure, and so on. But we're there. I mean, it really upset me a little bit when they brought in firefighters into Canada from overseas, and we had thousands of our own firefighters on reserves across Canada ready to work. There's something wrong with that picture. And I think that if we work together and are willing to work together for the same result, the same goal, which is public safety, then I think that these things can be worked out. And so I'll leave it at that for now. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, next I have Grand Chief Brian Hardlot here to give a statement as well. Okay, so I'm just going to turn off your video, Chief. Let's see, how do I do that? Okay, stop.
Don't get rid of me.
No, I'm not going
to. I'm leaving.
Okay, I'm just turning it on for, wait. Hey, why isn't Grand Chief showing up? Okay, that's oh, Dwayne, you can hear now? Can you put up your hand? Okay, for some reason, oops. There we go. Okay, we'll just have you.
Nope.
Good? Yeah. Okay, can someone put up their hand if they can hear Grand Chief?
Good afternoon.
Can you hear Grand Chief? Yep, okay, we got some hands up. Okay, go ahead, Grand Chief.
Thank you. No, first of all, I'd also like to thank the media for doing this story on the frustration that the leadership has from the Prince Albert Land Council. It is frustration. I want to really point that out from the leadership. I know we all know about climate change. We all know about the traditional way that we fought fires, and taking everything into perspective here. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for Chief Beattie, other leadership. So I just want to say that I think the approach that the province is taking right now, I think it's failing. It's an approach that we still call a let it burn policy, because that's what they're doing. And fire management, managing, monitoring, those are bad words when I hear them. People report a fire, and the response from the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency is we're monitoring the fire. We hear that a lot, and we don't want to hear that. We want we want to hear that there's boots on the ground, or do you want can you get some firefight? Can you get some type 3 firefighters from the community? Get them ready. That's what we want to hear. We want boots on the ground in these fires. I want to point that out, because it's really the well-being of the communities in northern Saskatchewan, in the whole northern Saskatchewan. But right now, with the Flanagan fire in the Sandy Bay, and also the fires around the Shambo Lake. Again, I'll stress it's a policy failure. It's a failure, from the provincial government. I know that Chief Beatty mentioned the task force that we formed. Me and him in 2018 after experiencing fires going well into the fire after the fire season, and that was September, when you lay off all the fire personnel, the provincial fire personnel, and also the First Nations fire crew. So that time, we started the task force, and really the purpose of that task force was really to prevent evacuations. And how many years ago was that? We're still having evacuations. Why? Because there's no personnel in the fires. The approach that they take, using the air attack, the water bombers. Yes, that's good, but they don't put out the fires. It's the boots on the ground, the type 3 firefighters that they go in there and mop up the fire. And that's what the frustration is that we're pointing out. And I'd like to stress, these aren't just remote fires. They are our home. This is our home, our territory, our traditional territory, our sacred land. And to let the land burn without doing anything or everything possible that could be done to extinguish, to suppress the fires, that's unforgiven. That's unacceptable. And to me, that's a betrayal of trust for me. And our people deserve better in the north. We deserve better, our people, to keep our land, to protect our land. What Chief Beatty mentioned, the medicines in the land, the animals that we still rely on for food. It's the convenience of a cost saving, I guess, with the provincial government. They said that they need to look at the budget also and put more resources into the fires, because of the climate change, right? So again, I'll say again that let it burn policy must be abandoned. We have to do better for the way we suppress fires. So it's all frustrating. For myself, I mentioned the traditional approach. I'll mention Alberta's looking at fighting fires early in the mornings, when we used to fight fires early in the mornings. And when the fire behavior acted up in the middle of the day, hottest part of the day, maybe we pull out the crews. But when the evening comes, put the crews back in there in the evening and right into the night. That's the way the fires were put out, the traditional way. And I mentioned the task force. We have to do more in that area. The merger, your media outlet, you have to realize that there was a merger about 7 years ago. The Fire Safety Emergency Management Group, which is an agency, and also the Forest Fire Management, they merged. So making the merger should, take care of things, but it's not. It seems like it's getting worse. They sure have more personnel out there that drive around fancy trucks with fancy uniforms, but they're not putting out the fire. Who puts out the fire? It's a type 3, the community members that Chief Beatty mentioned, the workforce that we have out there. And and I'm not for bringing out the people from the international community and bringing over here, bringing out the armed forces, bringing out the armed forces. They don't do any good. It's our people, and we can do that by engaging and talking, and how we can do better to fight the fires. An example, a fire that's been going for for a month now, McLennan Lake. The fire was just right beside the road. Nothing, no action being taken. You know, that's a failure. So I just wanted to say that to the media, it's really frustrating again that we're experiencing. Our elders have to be evacuated, you know, and thank goodness that we have a good people leadership in the communities and also our health centers to take care of the people, our staff. Or you know, I commend them. I commend the Saskatchewan First Nations emergency management people that we house in the Prince Albert Grand Council for doing the work. That's good. That is good. I commend them. You know, but that we have to do better. We have to do better, and it's not just the provincial government; it's also the federal government. About after 2015, we had those fires. We had standing committee. Peter Beattie was in the standing committee. Chief Tammy Cook Sears, and we were in Ottawa doing the standing committee, and how we can do things better. But really, has anything come out of that? You know, it's the federal government too. But I also commend the federal government for the resources that they've given us in terms of evacuation. But we just have to come together. And who comes together? It's the province. It's the province and the First Nations leadership, and how we can get work together. But so I'll leave it at that. I thank the media again for doing this story and how we can we can do things better. And this coming up with the elections, so this has to be also a campaign issues, you know, with these fires. So I thank you very much for media, and I will take some questions.
Okay, thank you, Grand Chief. So we also have Dwayne Hebert here, and he's the EM director. But at this time, I'm going to just open the floor to questions, and then we can go from there. And if you have any questions specifically about the evacuation, that's something that Dwayne can speak to. Okay, so we'll start with Rachel. We have about 10-15 minutes for questions. We'll start off with what happened to Amber? Okay, we'll start off with Dane Patterson. You can go ahead, Dane. What's your question? Okay, Dane. Oh, I think I have to ask to unmute.
Hi, I know actually Rachel was in line first, so I don't know if she's able to get unmuted, but I can.
Yeah, just go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Just wondering if you can, Dwayne Hebert, if you're on the line here, just curious if you can provide a bit of an update on what you know about the fire so far in evacuations. You know, how many people have evacuated, where they are, and maybe this. I know SPSA's recent numbers show the fire is still 13,000 hectares. I'm not sure if you know if that's changed at all, if you've talked with them.
Okay, sorry, Dwayne, can you go ahead? Just going to looking to unmute you. Yeah. Dwayne, are you here? He was here. I don't know what happened to him. Rob, is Dwayne with you? Oh, okay. Dwayne is, I'm just readmitting him.
I'd have to ask that question again.
Okay, yeah. Okay, can you go ahead and ask Dane, can you ask that question again? Hello?
Hi, Tina. 5% on the phone doesn't last as long as it used to last. My battery on my phone decided to quit.
Okay, so I have a question for you, but I'll ask Dean to ask his question again.
Hi, Dwayne. Thanks for joining the call today. Just wondering if you can provide any updates. I'm not sure how much SPSA has told you about the fire, but if you have any more information about the size of the fire and where it's at in relation to the community, as far as 10 kilometers away or what have you, as well as any information you might have about the evacuation. So how many people have been taken out and which cities they're staying in.
Certainly, and thanks for this opportunity to provide information to the media.
Dwayne, sorry to interrupt. Can you start your video?
I got a good face for radio, but if you wish that, I think I told Dane.
No, we lost your sound. Just unmute.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there's no oh, I think I saw you. No, you turned it off, Dwayne? Yeah. Wait. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, the smoke cleared away.
Can you just
We can steal.
yeah, can you move your camera so you're centered a little better?
I can't
Maybe
see
not.
myself. Oh, there I
Yeah,
am. Okay.
you're kind of at
Right.
the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks.
Wait,
Okay, so every day we have a meeting with all the agencies involved in this response, SPSA or Saskatchewan Public Safety being one of the agencies, and they always provide a fire update. 2 days ago, they brought an incident command team in, the commander being Fane Ray, and he's been providing input with respect to the fire size and activity. And as of this morning, the fire was about 11,000 hectares in size, burning very actively with the wind from the south. Winds are expected to change to the west-northwest or tomorrow, and with that, it'll push the fire towards the community. The fire itself right now is about 6.5 kilometers away from Island Falls Power Dam and about 7 kilometers away from the community. And the 7 kilometers that are away from the community along the fire line include 15 kilometers of fire line that the wildfire management team or the firefighters haven't been able to get to. So there's a lot of fire line that is very conducive to spreading. And with the winds from the west, northwest, it would push the fire towards the community. As a result, with their recommendation, the chief elected officials within Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation made the decision that we had to evacuate the community to Sandy Bay just for the safety of the community itself. So we began evacuating yesterday, moving out the priority or the chronic care list, the P1s, P2s, P3s. We brought out yesterday 278 individuals, 202 on the buses, and the rest of the community members came out on personal and private vehicles. Right now, and the numbers would include individuals from Deschambault. I had asked the Red Cross to break the numbers down. The numbers they provided were 164 evacuees in the city of Prince Albert, 140 in the city of Saskatoon, spread over 4 hotels, and 2 individuals have gone to Regina. We've also had some individuals express interest in going to Flin Flon Creighton, but we haven't used those facilities or hotel rooms there yet. So it's just between the 3 centers, Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and Regina right now. Red Cross continues on working diligently on trying to locate hotel rooms. I believe SPSA or Sask Public Safety Agency had a number of them blocked off in the city of PA and the city of Saskatoon. And after some discussions with SPSA, both by ourselves and by the Red Cross, they have released those rooms now. So we're in the process of identifying what rooms are available. Along with the Red Cross, are doing the same process. And it's hoped that we are able to keep the evacuees within those 2 centers, within Prince Albert and Saskatoon primarily.
okay, thank you, Dwayne. All right, did that answer your question, Dane? Just wondering
Oh,
about the
sorry.
size.
Yeah, thanks about that. Yeah, sorry. The size from SPSA on their website, it said 13,000 hectares, but you were saying 11,000, Dwayne. Did they knock some down, or how did that work?
So last night they had satellite imagery and it showed the fire crossing the Churchill. It 11,000 to 13,000 isn't a huge growth rate compared to the amount of the total size of the fire itself. And if they've updated their map to 13,000, I haven't been out there recently with the tape measure, so 13,000 is probably fairly accurate.
Okay, thanks, Dwayne. Okay, I am going to move to Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hi, Dwayne. I'm just wondering if the province has put out those type 3 firefighters to suppress this fire. Is it all hands on deck now from the SPSA?
Well, there are three categories of firefighters, type 1, type 2, type 3. And we have, with type 3 being what they call the mop-up crew. So we've been training, and we have trained in our other communities as well, type 3 firefighters in the community of Sandy Bay. They have not, well, they have used, I believe, 2 crews on the Flanagan fire. They're normally the mop-up crews. They don't go in when there's active fire, active flame, although they may be as well experienced as type 2. They just don't have that certification or may have not passed the health physical fitness standard for type 2, although their experience is probably more than the type 2. So they have utilized, we have 2 crews on the Flanagan fire. We are training more, and more are available from our other communities. This, and perhaps Chief Beatty and Grand Chief Hardlot has mentioned that before, but there was ample opportunity in the 3 weeks this fire has been burning. It hasn't always been burning as vigorously as it is within the past couple of days. They had ample opportunity to provide type 1, type 2, or type 3 along various parts of the fire line to contain the fire when it was much smaller. But they didn't take advantage of it at that time. It wasn't a priority fire for them. If I've got a lot of fire experience, and I think they had a lot of missed opportunities, and now it's created a fire. Even some of their own staff was calling it a sleeping bear. And now it's reached a size that in many places along the fire line, it's not safe to put any firefighter on because it's burning so hot, so vigorously, so unpredictable. So they have utilized some of the type 3, but they could be utilizing some more.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Okay, next I'm going to move to Rachel May. Can you go ahead, Rachel? We can't hear you. Okay, Rachel, go ahead. Can't unmute. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, it
Okay.
worked. Just went
Yeah.
for a second. So earlier today, the Government of Canada and Saskatchewan said that they're making a joint investment of over $47.7 million over 5 years to the Fighting and Managing Wildfires in a Changing Climate program and the Resilient Communities through Fire Smart program. Have you guys had any contact with them about that? If so, did they tell you that they're going to be helping you through this? I was just curious.
Chief Beatty?
Okay, Chief Beatty, is that just, let's see, where is he? Okay, ask to start video. Dwayne, I'm gonna just turn you off for now.
Thank you.
Okay, we can't hear you, Chief, and we can't see you.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you have to remember to unmute the people that are going to be speaking,
Yeah,
because you can probably see me waving around because I was talking and you couldn't hear me. However, in terms of the Fire Smart program, that's been around for quite some time. And one of our employees at the Prince Albert Grand Council, Cliff Bittner, is very familiar with that, and they do the Fire Smart program in each of our northern communities on a regular basis. The Fire Smart program entails cleaning up the underbrush that are most likely to catch fire during the fire season, and so they clean that out just to mitigate the chances of fires catching onto that underbrush, and so that helps somewhat. However, when you look countrywide and you take that 47 million over, what is it, 5 years, that's not a whole lot of money either. And what is that? 5 to 47, a little over 5, 8, 9, maybe 9 million per year, something like that. I'm just trying to figure that out in my mind, but it's not a whole lot when you look at it countrywide, Canada-wide. So I think that it is helpful that we could access, and we do access the Fire Smart program and the funding from the federal government. And so I think it's very, very, a very good thing. It's better than not doing anything at all. But I just wanted to comment as well in reference to the type 3s. They do take a few, but you need more than a few to put a fire out that's 11,000 or 13,000 hectares. That's a huge area, and it's going to take a lot more than 20 or 30 guys on a fire to do that. And they do have access to a lot of firefighters that are type 3s that can be put on these fires. And I think it's time that they looked at it seriously. I know it's a cost-saving measure to let fires burn, and then put in a few crews, and say you're actioning the fire. You may be actioning it, but not properly, and send in a few water bombers to drop water and make a lot of noise, and so you give the public perception that you're actually trying to put out a fire, when in actual fact you have nobody on the ground, hardly anybody on the ground, I should say, that's willing or that is able to dig it out of the ground and actually put it out, because it's always a team effort. At least when we were fighting fire, we had communications with the pilots on board, the water bombers, and also the helicopters that were bucketing, and we marked out the hot spots for them, and they were able to pinpoint the drop to make it a lot more effective. And so those are the things that should be brought back. And if you, as I said before, if you really want to put out a fire, there are ways and means. Where there's a will, there's a way. And thank you for the question.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, next, Lisa from CGME. Go ahead. Lisa?
It sounds like, from what you're saying, the community leadership kind of made the decision to evacuate people themselves. So I'm wondering what kind of participation or help has public safety, the provincial government, offered you either in those evacuations or in providing hotel rooms, food, things like that?
Dwayne, do you want to go ahead and answer that? Can you start your video? Yeah, and then just turn your camera down a little bit. Oh. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. We can't hear you, Dwayne. I don't know why it's doesn't do it automatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we can hear you now. Okay, go ahead,
So
Dwayne.
Saskatchewan Public Safety, the whole portfolio of programs. So they not only have emergency service officers that offer assistance during floods, fires, they also have the part that puts out wildfires that well, not this year, that observes fires. They also have the old emergency social services program. They've taken that into their programming. So they do offer this much the same suite of services that the Red Cross does. They would provide accommodations, they would provide meals and support for evacuees. However, Prince Albert Grand Council, along with Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation, work with the Red Cross. So those services that they would offer of support, we haven't taken advantage of or we haven't used because it's concerning to me and perhaps to the leadership as well, but to me personally, if they're observing the fire and are causing us to evacuate by not managing the fire properly or putting the fire out, and then they step in and say, oh yeah, since that you're going to evacuate, we offer to take care of all the evacuees. That, to me, that doesn't seem quite right. And we have worked with the Red Cross for a number of years, so we continue to work with the Red Cross. Support-wise, they offer a lot of advice, and it's unfortunate that you have to evacuate and those type of well wishes, but it's through the Prince Albert Grand Council, through our other communities within the Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation support and the Red Cross, that we are managing this evacuation and accommodations and provision of support for all the evacuees, not only from Sandy Bay, but also from one of our other communities of Deschambault Lake.
Thank you, Dwayne. Okay, next we have to wrap this up. Allison, can you go ahead? I'm just going to, it looks like I have to, whoops. Unmuting you. Allison, go ahead.
Hey, a couple of questions on my part. I'm just wondering if you could clarify, I guess, a time frame for how long you think it'll take to get everyone evacuated, and once everyone is out, how many people are we talking about? And also what the feeling is amongst community members right now. I know there was big evacuations in 2017. Is this a similar mood? How are people doing right now?
Chief or Dwayne? Tina, we didn't decide to evacuate on our own. Okay. Okay, Chief, did you want to respond to that question? Or Dwayne?
I can, and perhaps Chief can cover up all my gaps. So with any evacuation, no one wants to leave the community. It's terribly upsetting. You're taken out of your home, your familiar environment, placed in a strange environment. A lot of these people's, one of the fellows I gave a ride to last night, he said he hadn't been in Saskatoon in 10 years. He had been in other centers, but never in Saskatoon, so he's in a strange element. It's incredibly bad as well for individuals that may be going to further away, such as Regina, where they don't have any family support or any other people that they know other than the other evacuees. So the total number of individuals that live in Sandy Bay is roughly between 1,800 and 2,000 people. And it is a split jurisdiction. There is the village side and the First Nation side, not only from Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation, but also from Manitoba, from Matthias Colomb. So we have moved out with 300 people already. Today we have 2 buses coming down, and they have another 110 people on. At 4 o'clock, we have 2 additional buses coming down, and I believe they will be also filled with approximately 100 people. And we will continue as long as we need to be able to provide the transportation out of the community for all those individuals that want to leave. Some individuals don't want to leave the community. Many may choose to stay. We can't force those individuals out, but we can offer them the opportunity to leave. It will likely take today and hopefully tomorrow, because tomorrow is the day that Public Safety Agency has indicated maybe the day where the fire moves straight towards the community with the winds change in direction and the temperatures. We hope to have everyone out that wishes to come out prior to that.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne.
I'll shut up.
Sorry. Okay, Chief, I'm just looking to, Unmute you here. Ask to unmute. Okay, go ahead, Chief.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to clarify the process of evacuations. The question was I think the comment was, it sounds like you decided to evacuate on your own. Well, that's not true. We did not decide to evacuate all on our own. We rely on the recommendation of the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, also our health agencies, I should say, and that includes on our PBCN Health Services, and also on the provincial side as well. We rely on their expertise and their recommendations. The recommendation from SPSA was for a full evacuation of the community of Sandy Bay, and so we followed that recommendation. So I think it's a little bit of a misunderstanding. When people claim that we process and we work together with the province and with our health agencies and with leadership, and so that we don't bear the brunt of the costs of an evacuation. So, the answer is no, we don't. We didn't decide on our own, strictly on our own to evacuate. It was based on expert advice. So thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, Chief. Okay, I think we have last question, Susan, with PA Now. Just unmuting you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I just had a quick some clarifications. I understood that there are now 2 fires of concern. One, can you name the fires and the sizes of both of those fires? Because I hadn't written any of the background stuff, so I'm not totally clear on what exactly that was. And also, my understanding is the First Nation would probably get some federal funding if there's an evacuation, and then the chief just mentioned something about not being stuck on your own. So those are the 2 questions I had.
First, Chief, did you want to speak to that? I think would you be able to speak to that, respond to that question, Chief?
Yeah, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, if you unmute me. Hi.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
No, yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's 2 other fires that you talk about. One is the arm fire at Deschambault, and when we were up in the helicopter with the SPSA incident commander, Wes Bear, the estimate at that time was 10,000 hectares. So that's a lot of area. And then as the one in Sandy Bay is anywhere from 11,000 to 13,000 based on where you're getting your information, I suppose. But there's also another fire that's northwest of Deschambault Lake, and I haven't received any information as to the size of that fire. Something that I think Dwayne would be able to comment on. But there's 3 fires of concern, still of concern. So one to the northeast of Deschambault Lake, and one to the northwest of Deschambault Lake. And then, of course, the Flanagan Lake fire near Sandy Bay. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Dwayne, can you go ahead?
Yeah, the Latimer fire, there's the 3rd fire that Chief talked about, and it's smaller, but again, it's being observed, or watched, and it hasn't grown to the same size as either the Flanagan or the Iron Fire, but it is a fire of concern. I believe it's around between 5,000 and 6,000 hectares. So it is growing, and as they observe it and watching it grow, it may eventually pose risk to some of our communities or the traditional land or to the resources in the area. We do have another fire too that was putting ash into the community of South End, and it's to the northeast of the Flanagan fire. I believe it's either the Mason or Merkel Lake fire. It is about 5,000 hectares in size, and it is almost joined up with the Flanagan fire, and that's what happens when fires are just being observed. They continue to spread until they join another fire, and so we will soon have one fire as the Merkel and the Flanagan fire join, and it'll be a very much larger fire then.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Okay, so that looks, Allison, you still have your hand up. We need to end this. I think that you just forgot to put your hand down. Okay, all right. Well, thank you everyone for joining this conference call. And with that, I'd like to thank Chief Beattie, Dwayne, Grand Chief for joining it. And if anyone has any other needs, just give me, just text me or email me. Okay, so thank you very much. With that, I'm gonna end. Well, yeah, I think that's it.